Hey, hello. We're getting ready to start one more episode of I'm Right with Jill Cox-Cordova and Anthony Cordova, and that's me, by the way. And also, if you're one of our viewers that watches the show on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. You will make us famous. So yeah, please hit that like and that subscribe button when you are watching the show in replay or you're watching it live. Just do that. Now, if you are watching this in replay, you can fast forward right through this portion and get right into the show. I just want to let you know that we're here and we're ready for you. So if you want to fast forward, just go right ahead and fast forward, or you can just listen to me ramble for another 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Yes, that's about how long it'll take before we start the show live. Let me see. Also, if you are here and you're going to watch the show live, please, and audience, you have been doing a wonderful job of commenting and asking questions and all of that, because it really does make the show better. Because this is not only our show, but it's your show too. And I want you all to feel like you have a hand in it, because you actually do make the show better. And quite often, the show with the most audience participation in it end up being some of the most liked shows. So, people do want to hear you. They want to hear what you have to say. Also, if you want to be in this show tonight, if you want to be here live and you want everyone to hear you and or see you, there's a link on Facebook and YouTube. All you have to do is hit that link and it will bring you into the show. Now, we will be able to see you and hear you, or we won't be able to see you if you choose not to turn on your camera. But we'll know you're in the audience first, and then we will give you a warning before we call on you, so you'll be coming up to the stage, and we will ask you whether you want video or not. And if you have your video on, we'll instruct you on how to turn that off. So we would love to hear you in the show and hear your voice live. So we've got about 1 minute and 20 seconds, and we're gonna start the show. And remember to like and subscribe if you are on your YouTube. All right. So, like I said, we got about 1 minute. So please stand by. I just remembered something. Look, we're not going to be here for 2 weeks. So our next show is going to be on June 4th, and that's at the regular time and the regular day, which is 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, and that's Eastern time. So today is the 14th. So if you're listening to this in replay, today's the 14th. The next show is going to be on June 4th. All right, we've got about 15 seconds and we're going to start the show. And you will see and hear Jill and I. So please stand by.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This is I'm Right.
I'm Right.
And I'm Jill Cox-Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
And we're back.
We are back.
Yay!
How about that? We're back from where?
From last week.
We're back from last week.
They only see us once a week. And sometimes not even then.
I wonder if we were like in the twilight zone of vodcasting.
Oh,
We just
perhaps.
floated around
Until we came back. We made our way back.
Yeah. that's what we did.
That's something to consider, I suppose.
Yeah, it is something to consider.
And you're not sick this week? You're feeling better this week? Last week you had a cold.
Not me.
Yes, you did.
No.
Remember, our whole episode was about working while you're
show
sick.
must go on. Hey, cold, no cold, doesn't matter. Same show, same Tony. I still pull it off.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess. Show
But
must go on.
this may be one of those things that has to do with the topic of our show.
Well, before we get there, I want to welcome people who have already started commenting, which we always appreciate. You all really make this show better when you comment.
Who's in the audience?
So we have Connie. Connie is on.
Connie. Hi.
Hi,
What's
Connie.
up?
And I presume that Ronaldo is with her.
Yes, I'm sure.
And then we have Good Wednesday Evening from John Boltman.
It's John, the man. I am not going to say that S word that sometimes he describes himself as.
Well, he got that from someone describing him that way. I'm sure John doesn't call himself that. At least I would never call you that, John. It wouldn't even enter my head to call you that.
No, that's a bad word, Jill.
That word?
That's a bad word.
It
for
is
you.
a bad
You don't
word.
Let those things come out of your mouth.
That's right. It is a four-letter word.
You are pure.
I'm pure.
You are pure.
I don't know about that.
You are pure. That's why I married you.
We'll have to unpack that a little later. Okay, and your sis is here.
Hey, what's up, Denise? Hey. How you doing? Good to see you.
Welcome.
Happy you're here.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I love my sisters. And then John says he's working on hats and T-shirts. Well, I guess if you can profit from it, it's okay.
Yeah.
That is okay.
Yeah, T-shirt like that. Yeah.
It is okay. And she didn't write a comment, but I do see that she's here. So hi, Loretta.
Oh, Loretta's
hi.
here. Hey, Loretta, we haven't seen
Yay.
you in a while.
I miss you.
Welcome.
Loretta's good people.
Welcome. Yes, she is.
All right. Well, now we can talk about...
Now we can talk about the topic.
Our topic. Yes.
What's our topic?
When you have to deal with liars.
Liars.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Do we ever have to deal with liars?
Some of us more than others. But anyway, it's part of a segment that we call...
Stand by your stance.
Stand by your stance.
Well, I normally do, find a survey that relates to our topic. But guess what? I looked, but guess what?
No one lies.
The respondents all lied. So the results are all skewed.
How do you know that?
Because the survey showed that only 5% of people surveyed out of like thousands said that they ever lie. And we know that's a lie.
Ah, okay.
So, but I guess if you ask people,
Jill?
I have, yes.
You have.
I have. But not to, it was usually to either delay telling someone bad news or not hurting their feelings.
Yeah, not hurting their feelings.
But I refuse to call it a white lie. I don't think lies have color.
Well, I have known several people in my life. Several. Not one, not two. Several people that are chronic liars.
They just can't help it.
They
just
cannot
no matter
help
what
it,
if they speak, they're lying.
Even if you tell them, hey, this time tell them the truth about something, whatever it was. Let's say tell them the truth that I don't eat eggs. They would lie about it.
Because
Yeah, I don't know. Because and one of these people that is a chronic liar. One day we just asked him,
why do you lie so much?
"Why do you lie so much? Why? And not in an anger, not like I was angry or anything.
So he knew that you all didn't believe him. He knew that you all knew he was lying.
I assume so by his answer, because his answer was, I don't know why I lie so much. That might have been a lie too, you know. I don't know, but that was it. But he would tell these fantastic lies, like if someone said, I have a really fast car. My car will go 120 miles an hour. He would say, that's nothing. My car will go 260 miles an hour. And you would say, that's not true. That's not true.
So was it a competitive thing for him? Because
No,
seemed in
no.
that example seemed like he was just trying to outdo the other person.
No, he would lie about anything. He would lie about, oh yeah, I met the Queen of England when I was in London, and we hung out.
Oh, and hung out too.
we hung out. No, you didn't. Yeah, I did. And then he would argue.
Was he even in London?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But he would tell an elaborate lie. He's like, I can prove it to you. I can show you my plane ticket. I can show you this. I can show you that. If you don't believe me, ask my mother. If you don't believe me, ask my wife. If you don't believe me, like non-stop.
Wow. Well, we're getting
Non-stop.
comments from our audience. Let's see. Well, first of all, the married couple is here. Hi, Dave and Sam.
Married couple.
And if you're new to the show and you haven't heard us say hi to the married couple, they have a YouTube show that's really good that comes on at the top of the hour on Wednesday nights after this. So 9:00 Eastern that it comes on. And they're a lot of fun.
Check it out. They'll keep you laughing.
Yeah, they will, for sure. And then John says, I lie all the time, including that.
Including that. And that's a lie, that you lie all the time.
I was going to say, no, you don't, John. You do not. And then we were talking about habitual liars, just as Connie brought up. So, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of them out there.
Just lie.
There are a lot of them out there. You know, so do you call, so in the example you just gave, you and your friends, I guess, called the person out on their lies. Is that what you typically do when someone's lying to you?
Some people that I know personally, that I know they lie all the time. And one person I'm sure, I could be wrong, but it's a self-esteem problem.
Low self-esteem?
Yes.
Or
yes.
are they narcissists? Because narcissists do it too.
Well, one is a narcissist. Like I told you, I know a lot of people that lie all the time. And one is a narcissist, and the other one has low self-esteem. So they lie to make themselves seem better than what they are. But the things they lie about, it's just really not necessary. You know, it's just.
Well, when is it necessary to lie?
Well, like you said earlier, sometimes, to keep from hurting someone's feelings, Let me lie about that. Sometimes the truth, the true
Will
truth,
set you free.
sometimes it serves no purpose.
The truth?
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't. If it's going to hurt someone's feelings, or maybe, like, here's one. Now, they don't do it as much these days, but they used to years ago. If someone got a diagnosis of terminal cancer and they're like stage 4, is there a stage 5 cancer? The stage 4,
I don't think
right?
so, but there is a stage 0.
I don't want stage 0.
You want the worst?
I want the worst.
It's stage 4.
Stage 4. And back years ago, they wouldn't tell the patient that they had stage 4 cancer. They would keep it from them because the doctors felt that if they felt like they had cancer and they were going to die, that they were going to get sick much quicker and die. So this way, if you didn't tell them that they had stage 4 cancer, they might be able to live a better life for what last days they have. I do not agree with that, by the way.
I was going to say, I would
not.
want to know.
Yeah,
Because I still might do things differently.
Yeah, because
my
I'd
time
be like,
was
hey,
more limited.
If I knew I only had 6 months to live, ooh, boy, what would I do? Party, that's right. I'd have a good time. I sure would. But I wouldn't want to just go on with my life like I didn't. If I didn't know I had cancer, I want to know.
Okay.
So, things like that, sometimes you just, keep the truth from someone.
Well, like I said, there have been times where I haven't called people out. Like when I was a professor, every day I encountered liars, better known as, or
Better known as students.
As students, yes. And it got to a point where I started putting on my syllabi to, if you're not going to be here, I don't want excuses. Just don't show up. I don't need a paper slip. Because I didn't want to hear the lies. It would just anger me.
What were some of the lies students told?
Well,
besides my dog ate my homework.
They got a little more creative than that. They would say like I had one student who came with a form that he had created himself, but he didn't know I knew that, of dates that he was in the hospital. So he had placed himself in the hospital, right, for certain dates.
Okay.
And I don't know what he was thinking when he created this fake document.
He was like, I was in the hospital this day. That's why I wasn't here.
Right. But maybe it was during the summer when I only taught online and he wasn't in that class. Or it might have been 2 years earlier for his dates. Like his dates were all over the place, right? That made no sense to me. Mm-hmm. So rather than say anything at the time, I didn't say anything at all. I still marked him absent because that's what he had been, right? Like it didn't matter to me. You were still absent. That's still the result, And because I no longer accepted excuses. I didn't. If you missed the work, you missed the work. And so later he, like, I don't know, maybe a month later, a few weeks later, he came up and was like, you still marked me absent. And I was like, sure did. And he said, why? And I was like, well, first of all, you weren't in my class 2 years ago. You weren't in my class during the summer. And he was like looking at me all confused. I'm like, if you're gonna create a document, at least get the the date's right. And he goes, how did you see that in just seconds? I just showed it to you for seconds. I'm like, we are trained. We are trained to notice what we need to know. So students would, say things like that. They would kill off their uncles and aunts 3 times in a year, in a semester. The same one. So I just didn't say anything. I just let them believe that they had gotten over, but later they would realize I didn't buy it at all. So, and the reason I did it, some of them would say, well, why didn't you say anything? Why? Would that have changed you giving me the excuse that you already gave me? Would that have changed anything? No, it wouldn't have. Maybe next time you won't tell a teacher that your uncle died 3 times during the semester.
Yeah. No, I don't know whether you will classify this as a lie, but it's something I told. I told a story. I like to classify it.
You told me
as
a story?
No, I told a story. I'm getting ready to tell you what I said. So it was my first regular job. All right, I was maybe 16 or 17, right? And my car had broken down right before work. So I was trying to fix it and anyway, got the car running and I got to work, but I was a little late. I was 15 minutes late. So I walked in and I said, hey, I talked to the manager. Manager's like, you're late, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's account of my leg.
Your leg?
That's what he said, your leg. Mind you, I'm 16, 17 years old. And I said, well, yeah, it's because of my leg. I got injured during Vietnam War. I got injured when I was in Nam. Mind you, I'm 16, 17 years old. And he's really? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I was like, yeah. I said, that's why I walk with a limp. Haven't you noticed my limp? Oh, I did notice that limp. I didn't walk with a limp. Okay.
So what made you go, what made you not tell the truth and to come up with that story?
Well, I know who can relate. John can relate with this, my reasoning behind it. You can relate. I know he understands this.
Okay.
Well, this guy was my manager. But he seemed to be pretty gullible.
Well, clearly, if he bought all that, he didn't think that through.
But he was trying to be tough. You're late, all of this mess.
So you just wanted to
let me
disarm him. Is that what it was? Bring him down, calm him down.
I wanted to see whether he would bite on that story, which obviously is not true.
Right.
I was 16 years old. There's no way I was in Vietnam. It's just no way. Impossible. So for myself, I just wanted to see how gullible he was. And I found out.
Yeah, you did. You did.
And eventually I did tell him, no, I wasn't in Nam.
How did he respond to that?
I wasn't in Nam. He said, well, what was wrong? Well, why would you do that? He wasn't too happy about that. I'm lightened up. I said, yeah, I'm late. My car broke down. No big deal. It's all right.
Wow. Okay. So, well, we've got a lot of comments coming in. I'll go in order. So a while back when you were talking about an habitual liar, Connie wrote, sounds like an elective felon we've all heard of. John wrote this when I was talking about my students. He says, that is amazing. Connie also wrote when I was talking about, I know what to look for with these students. And she says, that's why we call you Detective Jill. I will investigate things that people tell me. That is true. And then Ronaldo says to you, shame on you.
Shame on my manager.
Well, speaking of managers, that, like, other than my first husband, who was an habitual liar.
Huh?
Other than my first husband.
Husband.
You know I was married before. Everybody knows I was married before.
I'm not your first and only husband ever?
No. First and only one I'll stay with. I was, I'm here to stay.
We'll discuss this after the show.
But anyway, well, everybody knows that you are not my first husband, and I am not your first wife.
Everyone except me, obviously.
That is not true. That is not true. See, you're telling stories now. And before I say more of that story, welcome Stacy. Yeah, she says hi. She's finally got here. Hi, Stacy.
I've been thinking about you.
Welcome.
Good. Happy you're here.
Yes, we are always. So, other than him, the only time I've really gotten upset when someone lied to me and I knew that they were lying to me was when a manager did it to me. Like
a manager
many managers have just outright lied. Just outright. Is
that a prerequisite to be a manager? Is that one of the requirements
in certain work cultures? Yes.
You have to.
In certain places,
liar.
yes. In certain ones, but on the flip side, I have had many bosses that were honest. Some people thought that was a fault of theirs, but I appreciated it, that they were so honest, but yeah, managers, me, because I ask questions. Everybody knows that about me. I'm just a curious person, but I also want you to make it make sense for me if you tell me to do certain things.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that's, I think I have a right to ask a manager why we're doing something, either why we're doing it at all or why we're doing it that way. Mm-hmm. And can't I do it some other way if I think that we have to do it. And they just get mad, and some of them will just say the wildest story about why we're doing it or why I have been tasked with doing it. And I know they're lying. And so I haven't called a manager a liar to their face, mm-hmm. but I have talked about liars in their presence.
What did you say about liars in their presence?
Like I'll say things to other people, so I'm not addressing them, but I'll say things like, I just don't understand why people can't just tell you the truth. Like, I would be far more productive if I just knew the truth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah? I would.
It was.
We have other comments, and then I'll let you respond. Jeanette is here. She says,
Hi,
"Hey,
Jeanette.
family. Hey, family. Hey." And then Stacy says he loves to tell tall tales, doesn't he?
Yeah, I will tell a story now and then.
I
remember my youngest daughter one time. I told her that I was swimming in the ocean, and the shark came up to me. And I punched the shark in the nose, and then I punched him again in the nose, and then the shark swam away.
How old was she when you told her this?
Probably around 6 or 7 maybe.
Okay.
And then she went to school and told all her classmates, my daddy punched the shark in the nose. He's tough. And she was probably like 13 years old before she figured out I told the story
And why did you tell her this story?
I don't know. Uh, we must have been watching Shark Week or something like that, you know. Like, yeah, I punched the shark in the nose.
Well, it's funny that you said that because I actually thought you were going to tell the true story, which Ronaldo remembers. You got very close one time, he says.
Well, yeah. Me and Ronaldo were in Fort Lauderdale. And maybe I shouldn't tell this whole story, but we was having a good time. And it got to be late, and we went and we got in a hotel swimming pool. And it was, late at night. And then, but we looked and we was like, but there's the ocean. Let's go swimming in the ocean.
At night.
Yeah, so we went swimming in the ocean at night, stayed out there for quite some time, and we came back in, and then all the employees were like, where'd you two just come from? We're swimming in the ocean. You know that's when the sharks come out, right?
No, you didn't know that. But I guess the sharks left you alone. I guess they thought, those humans are having a good time. We'll leave them alone.
I didn't punch any sharks.
Well, okay. That night. All right. Okay. Well, we have one more segment because, we're almost done.
Segment? Okay.
So it's a segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
What do you tell people? So I'm going to ask two questions. On one end, what do you tell people when they encounter liars all the time? Like, what's your advice to them?
Advice to people that encounter liars?
Not the liars, but the people who are being told a lie.
Well, actually, and I do this all the time, I deem what they say and give it a level of importance. So if they tell some flat out lie and it's not hurting anyone, it's not, the lie only involves them, I'll let it pass. But
wouldn't that give them a reputation of telling lies all the time? Like the friend you started off talking about? They probably already
have that reputation. But if they're telling some lie of something they did, whatever, what the heck? They're lying. What the heck? Don't worry about it.
You'll just dismiss it as storytelling.
Yes, whatever.
Okay.
Even though they're saying it's true and blah, 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 but
okay.
Don't worry about it. But if they're telling a lie about someone that I 100% know that is not true, I will call them out on it. So if they tell a lie that's going to hurt someone else, I'm going to call them out on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my advice for people who lie is maybe you should write fiction. That's my advice there. Okay, we have some more comments that we need to get to.
Oh my.
Ronaldo says, I saw the hotel and beach on Shark Week while they were tracking the sharks' migration. Oh, so I guess there were a lot of sharks there.
He may not remember he was swimming with the sharks.
He brought it up. He said you came close one time. He brought it up. Okay. And then Jeanette says, this is for you, Tony.
Uh-oh.
Definitely believe too many stories that my Uncle Tony told me. Yeah. Eric and I confirm we heard the same.
You know what I used to do to
and she calls you Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy. I used to pull each one of my nieces to the side, separately. And I would say, you're my favorite niece. I would go over to the other one and say, you know what? You're my favorite niece.
And you didn't think they would talk to each other?
They didn't figure it out until they were in their 20s.
Oh, I bet you they knew before then. I bet you. And you did it because...
And by the way, All of you are my favorite nieces. I love you all.
Is that a lie?
It's the truth. It's the truth.
But you told the lie because...
That was the story.
Oh, you were just... Oh, okay. I won't even go there.
That's the story.
John says, smile and say, that's the ticket. Yeah, that's the ticket.
That's the ticket.
Oh,
That's
yep,
it.
yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Oh, Jeanette corrected you. 30s.
Oh, they were in their 30s before they figured out both of them are my favorite nieces. You both, I love you both. You both are my favorite niece. Yeah, just don't tell the other one.
Oh, my goodness. And Denise says, Tony got that from our dad. No comment on that.
I got no comment.
No comment on that.
No comment.
Okay. All right. But yes, to your point, lies can hurt, people, so don't hurt people. And if you're on the receiving end of that, you don't, I mentioned my first, you don't have to take that. You could, if you can remove yourself from that relationship, if that's all you get, then leave.
Yeah.
Run, as we would say.
Yes, run. But, some of these things happen. And, sometimes I say stuff, as we all know. Sometimes I just say stuff. But
whether you mean it or not.
I've been in the trucking industry for many years, and I'm going to tell this story real quick.
Okay, because we got to wrap this up.
So I was working a job down in Hollywood, Florida, and we were bringing in all these new computer systems and all of that. And this woman comes outside, and she says, "Oh, I just love trucks. It's been my dream to get in a truck and just go all over the country. Can I come with you?" I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I didn't think anything about it. And then, I'm leaving. I'm packed everything up. I sent my crew on their way. And this woman comes running out of the building. She says, wait. Where are you going? I said, I'm leaving. But you're supposed to take me with you. Just hold on. I'm going to go inside and tell everybody, tell my boss I quit. Then I got to go home, get my clothes, tell my husband I'm leaving him, and then we can go. I'm like, no, ma'am. I didn't know you were serious. I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry, but no, I cannot take you with me. No.
Aw, dream killer. That was her dream. And you lied and told her you could make it a reality.
I didn't think she was serious. Oh, yeah, sure, no problem. But that wasn't my fault.
Actually, it was. Read the room. You got to read the room, too.
Wasn't my fault. I was minding my own business.
But you agreed to it. But I will say this. When you met me, one of the first things you asked me was, did I have a good memory? Because
Absolutely.
you knew that you
Sometimes
just
I
say things.
Yeah.
And you didn't want me to remember or, tell you what you said, that, because you are a man of your word.
Yeah.
And so to your credit, you don't do that with me.
No. Oh, absolutely not.
All right. Well, let's wrap this show up. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this.
I'm ready.
All right.
I think I'm ready. Hey, that's right. After show anyone, we need your input. And so far, you guys haven't come up with any show ideas for us. Come on, tell us what you want. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we won't. But we'll see.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, that's right.
To
like and
YouTube.
subscribe on YouTube, please.
Because our days on Facebook are limited.
So remember, we're every Wednesday. There we go. I'm right. It's every Wednesday. But guess what? For
what?
2 weeks.
Chicken butt.
Gee, For 2 weeks, we're not going to be here. We have some other things we have to take care of. So our next show will be on June 4th. June 4th of 2025. Yes, which is in 2 weeks. Cool.
That is. And we'll have a guest that day, too, that show.
Yep.
All right. Oh, we
All
have
right.
one more comment I want to get up. Steph understands. Take a week off.
Take a week off. 2 weeks.
And hi, Steph. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Steph. Hey, we didn't get to wave to you 'cause we didn't know you were there until now.
That's
So,
right.
hey.
That's right.
All right. So
All right.
Is that it?
That's
Is
it.
the show over?
Show over.
All right.
See you in 2 weeks. Stay out of
Right.
trouble. Don't lie to anybody. Don't hurt anybody. Be kind.
And I love you all, and I am not lying.
I do too. I do too.
I can only speak for myself.
Well, okay. Well, I'll speak for myself. I love you too.
All right. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll miss you.
Okay, we will. All right. Bye.